Many candidates really struggle with part two, and in fact there are a lot of people who are just really afraid of talking for 2 minutes. They think it's nearly impossible, and many people wonder how do I get a better score in part two? Well, there are a few key things to remember. The first and most important one is that the examiner wants you to talk for the full 2 minutes uninterrupted and without repeating yourselves. Pauses that you have, the fewer hesitations that you have, the more fluent you are, the better that you will perform in terms of fluency and coherence score anyway. I think that another way that you can improve part two is to introduce some connectors, like, there are maybe 3 or 4 points that you will make in the talk according to the hints anyway that are given to you. You might start by saying, well, initially I want to talk about this, and now I'd like to explore that. If you can divide it up a little bit and make it seem a bit more organized, it's definitely going to be helpful to your score. What you don't want to do in part two is recite something that you've remembered off the internet or from a teacher, because that will be a complete disaster. Even when native speakers are reciting things, the tone of their voice will change and it will become quite obvious that they are reciting something. So it requires skill, like the skill of an actor, to be able to recite things that you're not naturally wanting to say in a natural way. And most people, unsurprisingly, don't have that skill, so don't try to do it. Probably another thing that could be useful is that in part two, it often asks you to talk about how you feel about some events, but it doesn't ask you to talk about how other people felt about it. But that's fine. You can totally introduce more people's perspectives. You can say, my friend felt this way, my father felt this way, opposite perspectives. And that will give you the opportunity to expand the amount of language that you can create and put out there for the examiner, and basically get to the all-important 2-minute mark through doing this, while talking about feelings, which is something that should be fairly easy for people to do. Someone's thoughts and feelings about something. Another thing is just to pay attention to the grammatical structure of the question, particularly the tense. Is this something which is in the present? Is it in the past? Is it in the future? In the IELTS exam, the questions are always framed in a certain way for a specific reason, and it's a test of the candidate's ability to be able to deal with the grammatical setup. So, getting the right grammar tense is really, really important, and it's something to pay attention to. So if you put all these things together, keep talking, maintain your fluency and try to introduce some connectors for the different parts. Talk about the way other people feel, different perspectives on something, in order to expand the amount of speech that you can put out there, and pay attention to the grammar, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future. If you can remember these things, then I think that you're probably on course for doing much, much better in part two. All right, well, I hope people found this video helpful, and I will see you soon in the next one.